Hey guys, welcome back to another video, or welcome to the channel if you are new. In this video we're going to go over kind of the basics of how to contour your face along with adding some blush and typical like highlighting stuff. Main catch is it's for how to do it on your own face versus the what everybody does and why it might not work the best for your face. So we're going to cover kind of all of that for you today. If you are interested in kind of seeing what I have to say about all of it, stay tuned and let's dive in. So you guys can see I've already started out and went ahead. What? Starting early. Good. We're starting so early for this. So you can see that I've already gone ahead and done obviously a full face of makeup to kind of prep for this. Literally all I have left to do is for contour and blush and highlight and all the fun stuff and some bronzer maybe to go along with the look. And I will link all the products that I have on if you're interested in this look down below. So to get into contouring, what I'm going to start out doing, or rather using, is the Sephora Contour 101 palette, which is kind of like my go-to for powder contour, which is what we're going to use today because cream contour, I typically only use it when I am underpainting, but that's for another video. Alright, so first things first, when you are going to contour your own face, well, in general, not even just your face. If you're going to contour in general, you want to make sure you're looking at the actual face shape of the person or your own, obviously. I know for myself, I have more of like a diamond face shape because this portion of my cheekbones protrudes out. So you could have a heart-shaped face or a triangle. They kind of fall hand in hand, sort of. There is a bit of a difference for them. Or like a square face, or you could have ideally the oval one. There's lots of different face shapes. Look them up. If you don't know what your personal face shape is, pull all of your hair super tight back. Well, not super tight, but pull your hair back anyway, and then you can actually see the outline of it. The ideal face shape is an oval. However, everybody is different. And the other thing is to kind of note where your own features kind of dip in and whatnot. Other thing, obviously, before you get started, make sure you pick the proper shades for your skin tone. Contour shades really do vary, and on top of that, bronzer and contour are very different things. They are often interchangeable, and there's nothing stopping you from doing both or just one. I've often used bronzer just to kind of do like some light contouring and whatnot. However, in technicality, contour is supposed to create shadows underneath different areas, so obviously under the cheekbones is kind of very like a common area for it, but like jawline, and there's lots of places that you can do that, whereas bronzer is technically where the sun hits your face because you want to add some like warmth and like color into the picture. When I'm contouring, typically I like to use an angled brush. This is kind of my go-to. Depending on the look, I use a different shade. If I'm going like super dramatic, then I'll probably use a darker one. But for the purpose today, I am just going to use this shade right here, which is like the darker, the medium brown of the two, because my bronzer that I have is very similar to this shade. Now, obviously there's different brushes and stuff that you can use for contour. It doesn't really matter. You can find a lot of brushes. Most of the time they are angled. However, if you have an angled brush, make sure you're using it right. When you go to apply it, you actually want to make sure you're following the bristles and not like circular and like brushing them up, because you actually get an uneven application when you do that. It like gathers the bristles and it doesn't apply properly. At least not quickly. You want a quick application, just boop, boop. Don't pick up a lot of product. Start small, build it up. So when I'm looking at my own face, like I did say, I have like more of a diamond face shape. I contour differently depending on the day, the look, what I'm doing, what my hair is doing. So sometimes I will actually put contour on this bone right here just to kind of like diminish the look of it a little bit and make it more towards having like an oval face shape. Again, when I am doing that, I'm going to brush down on it, and I'm just kind of keeping it towards the outside of my face, because obviously you want your darker shades on there. And all my baby hairs. And then I go down and I follow the hollow. Now, this is kind of where I'm talking about where people do this differently. And there's like a go-to of like just doing this like straight line. That's good if that's what your face does. But, or if you're trying to change the shape of your face, you can also do it that way. But if you're trying to accentuate your own features and not someone else's, then you should follow the hollow. You can kind of, I mean, you can see it now because I've already put contour there. But for my face, kind of comes in and then down here, which is how you find that. Just suck your cheeks in. Now, if you don't want to use an angle brush, then you can do those circular motions to blend it all in. But if you have the angle brush, literally just brush it down. You can obviously switch the brush around to go back up again. And then if you are going to go side to side, just make sure you've got the brush like evenly on your skin. And then you can kind of do that sideways. You can see the difference between the sides where this now has like that shadow. It kind of like brings in a little bit. I fucked up. I did that and I had lipstick on my lip ring and I got it on my face because good job me. I'll do the same thing on this side. Obviously when you have different kind of face shapes, you can apply this in different ways. If you have a square face, focus putting contour like right in this area or like up towards the top to help like smooth out that like round shape. But again, everything all depends on the look that you're going for. But if you're trying to accentuate your own features, then you need to follow your own lines. And then I personally like to put this under my jaw as well, going like all the way up under my ear and bringing it down just to make it look like my face is a little bit thinner. And then other tricks you can do, if you feel like your throat's a little bit bigger and you want to like really thin stuff down, you can bring your contour down into like this little triangular shape that comes down here, and it'll blend into foundation that hopefully you blended down your neck. Another place I like to put contour is actually just kind of following this like line right here. You can also do it with bronzer as well, but I like it being a little bit more of like a shadow appearance than like the sun-kissed kind of look. Although you will see me do it with bronzer quite frequently as well. Basically just kind of takes your like the line from your eye and pulls it up like the supermodel kind of look. It also accents my like diamond face shape because normally, more often than not, I'm accentuating that because I really like the shape of my cheekbones. I think it's one of my better features personally. Look at this. Can you see that in the camera? Lip rings and lip chap just don't go. Especially when I put lip gloss on. Not a thing. Well, it is a thing. It's a thing I wish wasn't there though. Alright. For the most part, I'm trying to line it up for like the little like hollow under your eye there and then go up. And then I just kind of like flick it up a little bit just to kind of like blend it. There we go. Got there in the end. Now, for your nose. That's a big thing for a lot of people, including me. So, common misconception when contouring your nose. Not everybody has to do this like U-shape thing. Surprise. Realistically, obviously if you want to thin out the bridge of your nose, awesome. You want to snatch it till it looks like you can't breathe, go for it. Depending on the shape of your nose, like, I mean, that's what I do, the U shape, because aside from my nose being long, like I don't have a problem with its shape here, but you can add like some shadowing to the sides of your nose if it's really wide, or like put it right on the tip of your nose if it's long like mine, which is kind of what I do. I put some like right here. But yeah, there's lots of different ways to contour your nose that doesn't necessarily like, especially if you have like the bridge of your nose is super long, you don't want to actually put that on the sides and then like make, did I do it again? Yes, I did. But if you do like both sides and then bring it down and like do that crazy snatch look, you make yourself look like you have a longer nose if you already have one. So you can put it basically where it needs it. Like if you have a bump on your nose and things like that, like contour where you need to. You don't have to follow the exact same thing that every other person does. Be you, basically. The moral of all of this. However, one thing you can do, I mean, if you want to kind of like really add to the like lengthening of your nose and like thinning, you can bring it up kind of like in towards the eyebrow as well. When I am doing that, I'm pinching the bristles on the brush. You can use a smaller brush to do it, obviously. I just boop, pinch them like that and then stipple it on. There's a lot of different methods to contour. There's a lot of people who like go super dark and then like blend it in with a beauty blender, or like put bronzer or whatever over the entirety of the nose and like add powder to the sides to like lighten it. And yeah, there's a lot of methods. This is just what I do for it. I add more to kind of like this bottom and leave it kind of like highlighted up there. Depending on how well that goes for me, I have definitely blended it in with a beauty blender in the past. 100% have done that on multiple occasions, especially if it does get too dark and you want to like tone it down. Contour can go wrong really fast if you work with too much when you work with too much product. I almost said project again. So afterwards, if you do want to warm your face up a little bit, you can go in and add a little bit of bronzer to it, which I am going to go in with the Sephora Medium 3. I am not going to try and pronounce the name of this because I'm pretty sure it's Spanish and I butcher it every single time I try to say it. I can't do the accent. We all know I can't speak English. Don't make me do an accent. Okay, so this is a newly kind of acquired taste for me, is actually using it is a powder brush. I was using this for foundation for like the longest time, but I've taken to using it more for bronzer and using my angled brush for contour, which, I mean, this is typically a bronzing brush because you can go in and do what I just did with the contour. This is just a smaller version of it. So if you want any like really sharp distinguished lines, obviously there are smaller angled brushes that you can use. However, I want to just go in and kind of warm up my face a little bit, especially since I've got kind of like a lot going on. So where I've already contoured, I'm just kind of going to go in and like warm up my forehead a little bit. Now, this is the one that you really need to make sure that you've picked the right shade. Because too much bronzer in the wrong shade is gonna make you orange. And this is the other one where start with less product. Why do I keep wanting to say project? Whatever. Start with what? Why? Start with less product. Got it. Build up your product instead of going like crazy with it absolutely right away. And then I am going to go in a little bit on my cheeks as well. Just like I said, remember that bronzer is more to like warm up your face. It'll darken things up a little bit. You can obviously use it to contour, like I said, but make sure you've got the right shade. If you're going to use it to contour, like don't go super orange with it if that's what you're going to do, because you'll want it to be more of like a brown tone, which is what mine is, realistically, which is why I very often get away with using this as contour. It's only got like a slight warm tone to it, but for the most part it's pretty neutral. And when I'm doing this on my cheeks, I am bringing it up a slight amount, but for the most part, I'm skipping the top part of my cheekbones because I have high cheekbones and I like accentuating that fact. I'm just kind of going over my contour a little bit just to blend it, but I'm adding more of it to like the outside of my face so that the interior of it looks brighter, like you can see. It just slims everything down and gives you more of like a healthy glow. Next up, blush. So for the blush, I'm going to use the Sephora Winter Flush palette because I really like all the shades in this one. There's a lot of options for it, obviously, and I've used all of them. Depends on the look that I'm doing. Likely today I'm going to go in and keep with this like warm tone that I've got going on, opposed to putting in like cooler pinks or anything like that. So that one is what I'm going to use. And for blush, I use like a really fluffy, light brush that I can go in with. Obviously, there's a few different trends going on with blush right now. There's like, you like put it on the apple of your cheek and like go back, and then you can kind of like bring it over the bridge of your nose and stuff like that, and it really gives you a nice like super healthy glow, which if you are really pale, find a blush color that you like, unless you're gonna go super gothic, which whatever, personal choice. But if you want to give yourself like a nice healthy glow to it without doing like bronzer, because it maybe you feel like it makes you look orange, blush is another good way to give you like a healthy feel, opposed to being like, well, a deathly complexion basically, which I mean it's the goal of a lot of people. It used to be my goal. I hated blush for like the longest time, except now my style is very mixed. Like very mixed. When I'm applying blush, personally, I kind of like to continue this whole like pulling up thing that I've got going on. So I will normally concentrate my blush actually back here and go forward with it and continue the like darker pigmentation on the outside and swoop it kind of all in as a personal preference, but I do bring it forward to the apple of my cheek, which if you don't know, smile. There's your apple. Now, light hand, guys. This is another product. Everything for this, light hand. You don't go overboard, you'll become a clown very quickly, unless again, that's the look you're going for. If that's what you want, go for it. You can use like the leftover product and kind of brush it over the bridge of your nose, which is what people have kind of been doing recently. I'm not going to do it a lot because it's not my personal favorite, but it does kind of bring a cohesive kind of feel to your face. It can also look really silly if applied poorly. Personal thoughts. Maybe you like it. Don't come at me. And the last step, highlight. What parts of your face do you like? Literally. Highlighter is basically supposed to go on the portions of your face that are either like higher or accentuated, or like you want to bring attention to them. Obviously you see people like put it on their cheeks, and like sometimes you'll see like the circular kind of shape in here. For the longest time I was doing this like circular shape, but it doesn't work insanely well for my face. So what I've kind of taken to doing is doing my cheeks and then doing like a little bit kind of like up here on like my brows. Obviously underneath the arch of your brow is a good place to do it. Top of the Cupid's bow, which I'm not going to do that today because I have lipstick on already, and that just sounds like a disaster. You can put it on the tip of your nose. A lot of people do like the entirety of the bridge, but I know it's also pretty popular to do like just there and the tip, which is what I typically do if I'm even applying blush to my nose. Or not blush, highlighter. There we go. I'm going to use two different highlighters because I'm extra. So the first one I'm going to use is one I've been obsessed with recently, which is from Catherine Natural Cosmetics. I got this in one of those little, is it Ipsy? I think so. I think it's Ipsy that has them. Anyway, I think it came in one of those. So this is Sienna's highlight. I've used this a lot, so there's not like a lot in this pan, but it's super pretty and I really like it. And then I'm just using like a little brush because I don't actually have like a highlighting brush, surprisingly. And I just apply that literally to the top of my cheekbone, kind of bring it in like on top of the blush basically. There we go, you can kind of see it. It's really subtle, this one, which is kind of why I like it. However, like I said, I'm using two. So I'm doing this, but we're gonna go in with another one to make the cheeks pop. like I said, my high cheekbones are one of my favorite features. What is your favorite feature about yourself? No negative comments. Don't put yourself down. You have to pick one thing. Comment below. What's your favorite feature? So like I said, that, and then I'm going to go a little bit up here. And I don't do that too crazy either, because I'm not trying to like bring a ton of glow there. Like that's not what I'm trying to do. Also, when you are highlighting your Cupid's bow, remember that you're only trying to get like the portions that are actually sticking up. So use a light touch to it. You're not trying to like highlight the entire upper lip. Like that's not what you're trying to do, as everybody knows by now. Too Faced, my diamond like highlighter, shimmery, everything. I literally just go in with my finger for that, and I hit like the center portion, sort of. Doing that only if you really like looking a little bit extra, really realistically, because that in the sunlight, boom, it's there. Alright, setting spray. So, I inhaled that, don't inhale it. Oh, so yeah, that is the basics of how to do stuff and kind of like some tips and tricks on how to do it for your own face, opposed to just following the exact same thing that everybody else does. As a gist of the whole thing, just literally focus on your face. Know your face shape, know your features, find where your cheekbones are, which you can literally just push and see where your face dips in and go from there, and that's kind of where you should personally contour. Now obviously if you're going to be one of the crazy artistic people out there who wants to like blank out their face with like a full coverage everything and like change the whole everything about your face, you do you. That's I mean, I would like to do that at some point in time, but it's not an everyday thing. Couple things obviously before I do actually sign off for the day. I have a bunch of fun things coming up. I have a new idea that I'm going to be trying out for Instagram as of when this launches tomorrow. Yes, on Thursday is going to be the start of it, which this look is kind of going to be incorporated in it. But definitely give me a follow on my socials, which Instagram and Facebook are linked below. Twitter is also linked below, but as you guys know, I'm not good at Twitter. It exists. One day maybe, but Facebook and Instagram are my go-tos for it, but give me a follow there so that you can keep an eye out for the things that are going to be coming up in the future, because I definitely have some fun ideas for it. Saturday will be another video. Actually, every Saturday has a new video, which that one's guaranteed. Wednesdays, sometimes I am going to try and keep doing these little basic tutorials on Wednesdays until we've got all the basics covered, and then maybe I'll go into like just regular makeup tutorials or do some of the 300 other ideas that I've got going or I have planned. But that's going to finish it up for this one. Make sure you hit the like because it does help me out quite a bit. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for me, and remember to select all so that you actually get notified when I post new videos, which like I said is every Saturday and hopefully every Wednesday, but sometimes on that one. That being said, Instagram and Facebook have new content every day except for Sunday, so if you want to keep an eye out for different makeup looks that maybe you can be inspired by, check them out. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully this tutorial did actually give you guys a hand in understanding how to contour your own face or apply blush or highlight. Blah blah, I'm rambling. Hopefully you guys have a lovely day and I will catch you on the next one. Bye guys. Pew.